Welcome to another video from the Steiner Family Travels. This time we're in the Adirondacks. We spent 2.5 days there, the end of September in 2025. This is a good place for me to ask you to hit like and subscribe so other people can find my videos. We arrived in the Adirondacks on the last Wednesday of September. We flew into Albany and drove up. We were on our way to Lake Placid, and this beautiful little river was along the roadside, so we stopped to get some video and pictures. This is marvelous scenery if you're ever going to Lake Placid. The entire drive, once you leave the interstate, is beautiful on the way to Lake Placid, and we were excited to go there because we'd never been to that part of New York before. It is both fortunate and unfortunate that it was raining the day we got there, and it rained much of the next day as well. The reason I say it's fortunate is that upstate New York had been in a drought and everything was pretty dry. Because of the rain, we were able to see some waterfalls flow and some more water in the river that hadn't been there just 2 days before. I would say that's fortunate. However, we did have to do some hiking and walking around in the rain the first couple days. This is a view within Lake Placid. You can barely see the house down amongst the trees. We stopped there for dinner our first night and had wonderful Italian food at a restaurant up on top of the hill. After flying that morning, driving upstate, we were tired, so after dinner we headed to the resort we were staying at, New Vida. This is the view of the backside of the preserve that I sat to have coffee in the morning. The New Vida Preserve is clearly fashioned to be a ski lodge. Here's a tree in the parking lot. We thought the leaves were spectacular. At a reasonable time the next morning, because we were on vacation, we got up and we headed to Mount Joe. We hiked to the summit of Mount Joe. Here are the steps that help you finish getting up the rocks at the top. Here we are nearing the summit. As you can tell, it was raining pretty hard at times, and then we would get breaks in the clouds. While we were on the top, I was able to get some photos as the clouds cleared out below, and then more clouds would come back in. At the base of Mount Joe is what they call the heart-shaped lake. You can apparently hike all the way around this lake, or go to the summit of Mount Joe for a view. I've seen photos of the lake from the top of Mount Joe where you can clearly see the heart shape of the lake. However, the foliage has grown up enough that you really can't see the whole lake right now. After our hike, we headed to Lake Placid to go to the Olympic Ski Jumping Center. This is the official summer training place for the Olympic ski jumping team. As you can see, Diana and I both took a shot at it. Ha ha. The hill is covered in plastic thatch material that allows them to land without having snow. You get to the top via a short gondola ride. Once you're there, you can see just how steep and scary the whole thing is. Diana said there's no way she'd ever try to do something like this. As much as I like skiing, even on the tough hills, I have to agree that jumping off a big hill like this isn't something I'm ever going to do. As you can see, ski jumping has two hills, what they call the normal hill and the big hill. Creative names, almost like New Zealand. At the back of the hill is this observation platform where you can ride an elevator up to where the ski jumpers get onto the track to go down. There's an observation windows all the way around this facility, and as you can see, you get quite a view. On the back side of the ski jump facility is the John Brown farm. John Brown was the famous abolitionist who rose up in arms to try and fight slavery back before the Civil War. Way off in the distance there is the white sliding facility where you could do bobsledding. However, when it's rainy, you can't ride the bobsleds, even though I really wanted to. After the ski jump hill, we were hungry, so we went to this wonderful Indian restaurant. I'd highly recommend it if you're ever in Lake Placid. It's fancy and the food is delicious. This restaurant has a robot server. On the way back to New Vita Preserve, we saw some additional scenery. Here's a little dam with a beautiful little waterfall below it, and there was a guy fishing there down below. You can go down the hill to a little dock. We also saw some really cool cloud formations as the clouds came over the hills. The next morning, we found coffee and breakfast at a little restaurant that roasts their own coffee beans. After breakfast, it was off to find some waterfalls. Here's the first one that we noticed along the roadside and went to go view. After this one, we went in search of others. This is Flume Falls. There's a little parking area right along the road, and you only have to go down an embankment about 30 yards or so to be able to get to the waterfall.
Ryan, please be careful. Be careful.
Look at that bird.
Where? Oh. All right, Flume Falls.
After Flume Falls, we headed to the High Falls Gorge. Here's a trail map, and this is the view of the bridge as you cross over the river that forms the falls. High Falls Gorge is a place where you have to pay to get in, but once you get in, it's pretty spectacular. The hiking is actually not really much of a walk, and it is wheelchair accessible. After High Falls Gorge, we went to the Whiteface Mountain ski area and rode the gondola to the top to see the views up there. Here's the little stream at the base of the mountain. Another example of beautiful scenery just laying there for you to look at all over the Adirondacks.
Ready to go up to the top of the mountain on a gondola. Way up there to the top.
From the top of the mountain, you can see the Lake Placid Valley and the lake down below, as well as the surrounding hilltops and peaks. It's a fantastic view. Here's the shot riding the gondola down the mountain. Having to look through the scarred up plastic isn't a very good view, but we did get some good photos. On the way back to Albany to pick up some people at the airport, we stopped along the road for a few photo shots and some video. Just going down the road gives you some beautiful vistas as you're leaving Lake Placid. Before heading to Albany, we did take a little detour to the road that goes across the top of Whiteface Mountain. We didn't have time to drive the road, and they do charge quite a bit of money just to go across there. Well, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. We hope to see you soon on another travel adventure.